We're not politically correct, we just have common sense.
Unscripted, unfiltered, unfaltering. Show of Support's Hunt for Heroes offers tributes and true stories of remarkable courage.
If these terrorists could come in your bedroom, they'd kill you, your wife, and your kids. And that's what these men are fighting to protect us from, these murdering idiots. And they're taking them out so that we don't have to deal with them over here.
Show of Support started it all just after the shock and awe bound a nation together. Now, years of footage portraying wounded veterans, deer stands, and standing ovations. Hunt for Heroes, that started as one man's way to say thanks, is now a series that many say is way overdue.
I ain't never felt like that before, and I want to feel that again.
It's just a raw emotion.
They left us being loved and being honored for the heroes that they are.
We still have 40,000 injured troops.
If you threaten our people and our way of life, we will find you wherever you may be hiding, in the place you feel most safe, and we'll kill you in your own bedroom. Thank you for being a country worth fighting for. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
It's going to take a while to get around to all of them, but there's no quitting. It'll never stop as long as I'm breathing.
Show of Support Hunt for Heroes is made possible through a partnership with Pioneer Natural Resources, Boss Blinds, Caltech, Tico Field Service, Double J Ranches, CBT Charities, and Christmas for our troops.
Well, hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Rich.
Nice to meet you, Terry.
Ryan, how are you?
This trip to South Texas absolutely means everything to me. A lot of guys get wounded, a lot of guys get forgotten. You know, it's people here that don't forget, and they say thank you in a way that, you know, is more expressive than we could ask for. It's absolutely amazing. You can't ask for more.
There's a group of Americans that you fought for that are very appreciative for what you've done. I speak for millions of people. I don't know if y'all hear from them. I hope you do. I hope you hear everywhere you go. Thank you.
Terry Johnson's Show of Support Hunt for Heroes has become a full-time endeavor. In the hunting lodge at the famous Shiner Ranch in South Texas, Terry welcomes 3 combat veterans, with one on the way. Jeremy Smith has come here on an invitation all the way from Pennsylvania. He's somewhat knocked off balance by a pile of gifts, including a brand new rifle.
Growing up, I was always around the outdoors. I absolutely love hunting, fishing. Anything I can do to be outside just absolutely drives me wild. I love it.
Jeremy's not one to spend too much time in the lodge. He's anxious to get in the blind on this warm, cloudy afternoon in January. His guide is Jason Sakura, the wildlife manager at the Shiner. Jason knows the ranch and he knows the deer. Jeremy knows he's in good hands. Jeremy knows this hunt's going to be a little different from back at home in Pennsylvania. For one thing, there's no need for heavy jackets or earmuffs. For another thing, Jeremy is immediately caught off guard by the sheer numbers of deer. Almost the second he and Jason get settled in the blind.
To see so many deer on just one single food plot, I mean, there was over 100 deer that first night. There were some absolute gorgeous animals on that field. Over a 30-inch wide 8-point buck come out. He was definitely the daddy of the group. When I first saw that 30-inch wide 8-point come out into that field, I was smile ear to ear. It just absolutely amazing. You know, I've seen pictures and I've heard stories, but that deer was absolutely impressive. He was just a beautiful deer, you know, absolute monster, and I loved every minute of getting to watch him.
In so many places in the country, this late date on the calendar would mean bucks are worn down after the rut. Seeing as how the rut is in December, these bucks still keep up their pursuit. By this time of year, food plots are some of the very few places to find green stuff to feed, and they do become very busy places. Since Jeremy and Jason got to the blind late in the afternoon, they don't have much daylight left. But it's given Jason a lot of time to explain more of the South Texas hunting culture, where restraint is key to letting some of these huge bucks walk because they haven't had enough birthdays. The wildlife management lesson takes a different angle when this mature buck hits the field.
Is it the only one that's walking? Yeah. Okay. When that 11 point came out of the field and I got the green light on him, I knew I wanted to shoot this deer. He definitely got the blood pumping. He was a beautiful animal. Absolutely awesome deer. And we took our time with him. We watched him.
With that buck sporting a split G3 on his left side, Jeremy's heart races. He's never shot anything like that before in his life. And to be sitting here nearly 3 hours after arriving in South Texas is almost overwhelming. As Jeremy's finger begins to squeeze the trigger, something spooks the buck. The angle is bad. It seems everything in the field is staring a hole right through the tower blind 100 yards away. Jeremy has to hold off. He can't take a chance with that young buck just on the other side. But now the deer has had enough. He's seen all he needs to see, whatever that was. Everyone watches that buck of a lifetime trotting his way out of the field and into Jeremy's nightmare.
I wanted so bad to put my hands on those antlers and just be out there and enjoying what God's given us on this country.
Like any deer hunter, Jeremy's taking it pretty hard. But he'll be back, now that he's seen that buck once, to try and close the deal as Show of Support Hunt for Heroes continues. This portion of Show of Support Hunt for Heroes is made possible through a partnership with Pioneer Natural Resources.
That next morning came before I could even know it. I was so excited. We were definitely anticipating crossing paths with this deer, and things felt right. Things looked good. It was a nice, cool morning, and we were extremely hopeful.
It's cooled off quite a bit from the previous afternoon here in South Texas. The clouds are still heavy, and so is Jeremy Smith's heart. He's watched helplessly just yesterday afternoon as the buck of his dreams slipped through the crosshairs. With hunting guide and wildlife manager Jason Sekula, Jeremy is astounded to see deer everywhere at this new location. While studying the bucks feeding in the chilly morning air, Jason spots a buck he wants to take off the ranch.
To be able to take one of those management animals for them and to shoot one of those whitetails that's lived one of those good, long, healthy lives and just been on the block a little bit too long, it just makes you feel like you're hunting your trophy. No matter what you're shooting, whether it's does or management bucks, trophy bucks, everything just makes you feel so good.
When they get the chance to see that buck and they get excited and they get the chance to put that gun up and they're getting ready to shoot, they're nervous and I'm nervous, I'm shaking right along with them.
That's exactly what Jason Sekula likes to hear, is a hunter's heartbeat accelerated, even though it's a management buck. As far as Jeremy's concerned, this is a great deer, and he has no problem whatsoever doing the ranch a favor. He knows that he'll still be able to hunt that big buck that got away from him yesterday. But for now, a buck that is old, scarred, and broken up is about to be removed from the gene pool.
Oh, that was awesome. My first Texas buck. Thanks, Jason.
Good shot.
Thank you.
when they make that good shot, you know, and they're just happy as could be, you know, the high fives and everything come out. It's just a great feeling. It's as if I shot the deer myself. I have the same exact, you know, joy.
I get so excited and so happy even just thinking about it again. It's so much fun. I absolutely love hunting. Oh yeah.
It's a good old buck.
You've been rubbing, huh?
Orange. Yeah, he's busted up a little bit.
Yeah.
Been rutting hard. Man, look how scarred up he is.
Yeah. It was awesome to hold him in my hands and to share that experience with Jason and be out here in Texas, and it was just absolutely awesome. It just made me feel great.
When these guys walk up and they put their hands on that deer, a lot of these guys, that it may be their first deer, or you know, in some cases it's their biggest deer. They've never even seen a deer that big, and that's the greatest feeling ever, when those guys walk up and they're almost in disbelief at what a nice deer they just killed, and what a great animal, what a great hunt. And to be able to share that with men like this is really an honor.
Jeremy's hunt is not over by any stretch of the imagination. He's just getting warmed up. A show of support, Hunt for Heroes continues. Stay with us.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Closed captioning for Show of Support Hunt for Heroes is made possible through a partnership with Boss Blinds.
Between the hunting and the camaraderie and the other guys, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's what you need. It takes a little weight off the shoulders and gives you the chance to relax and be yourself around some people who can relate to how you feel about things.
It seems with every hunt, with every laughter-filled lodge, with every photo taken, lives are touched and memories are made. So many times Terry Johnson has heard these hunts are more like therapy for the soul. Jeremy Smith was in the right place at the right time to be able to turn this hunt into a potential 2-buck hunting trip. On this day in January, Jeremy is in hunting camp, but it wasn't that long ago when he was in combat.
I decided to join the military after 9/11. My dad lost some friends in the Trade Center, and to me, it's always been a part of the family to do your time and do your service to this country. It's a beautiful country, and we stand up for what it means to us. And you know, it seemed like I had to do it. I got sent to Iraq. I was in eastern Baghdad. Had about 3 days left to my tour, and I was hit with mortar shrapnel from enemy fire. About 6 of us were injured. I was hit in my leg and my arm. After the injuries, we were medevaced out, and I finally landed back at home base at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where the final removal of shrapnel was done, and I got a little piece to show for that, sitting in my truck in a little jar. After my injury and my release from the military, I really missed it. I missed the camaraderie, I missed the guys, I missed the work. My leg is in too bad a shape to return to the service, so I'm coping with civilian life, and being out here in the outdoors is really my way of doing it. I really enjoy it. I'd give anything to go back. It was definitely a great time.
There have been people who, upon seeing South Texas for the first time, are struck by its lack of tall trees, thick brush, the lack of color. Funny how all that, when you've been to war, can seem like heaven. This is heaven for whitetail hunters. Jeremy's lost count of the days, but he hasn't lost count of how many bucks he's noticed would rather crawl under a barbed wire fence instead of jumping over it. One after another choose to go under rather than over. Another thing that has amazed him are the sheer numbers of whitetail here at the Shiner Ranch. No matter where Jeremy goes, he sees great bucks. Sometimes youngsters, and some over the hill. Of all the days and years he spent on the wooded hillsides of eastern Pennsylvania, Jeremy hasn't seen anywhere near this many deer. Although he hasn't gotten a chance to find that buck from the first afternoon, Jeremy's not giving up. Finally, the buck that stole his heart is in range. and Jeremy might be losing him again. As Show of Support Hunt for Heroes continues. Stay with us. This portion of Show of Support Hunt for Heroes is made possible through a partnership with Pioneer Natural Resources.
I absolutely enjoy the outdoors. If it has to do with being outside and just enjoying the camaraderie and the friendships that you can enjoy in this great earth, we're into it. I absolutely love it.
The temperature on Jeremy's last day of hunting has returned to what January should feel like. Across this clearing, emerging through the muted colors of winter, does and yearlings are starting to move in the weak daylight. In fact, everything seems to be moving at the same time this morning. Barely before you could count the points on this buck, Jason alerts Jeremy to yet another buck coming out way on the right. The clearing, and the whole ranch, it seems, has come to life this cloudy, cold morning.
Is that the wide one?
Yeah.
Another good sign they're at the right place.
Oh, man.
That incredibly wide 8-point buck walks out with no reservations whatsoever. This gives Jeremy hope that maybe he might see the buck that left his crosshairs just the other day. And just as that thought crosses his mind, something else is moving in the brush to the far left.
When that deer stepped out of that brush and Jason, whispered over, "That's him, that's him. That's our deer." My heart just started pounding. I got real excited. I had to wait for him to walk out just a hair more, and it was definitely exciting. I definitely had my nerves on edge. We had to let him come out a little bit further. He was, not 50, 60 yards from the blind, perfectly broadside to us. But the angles just didn't line up. I couldn't swing the rifle far enough left to get on him and make a clean, safe shot. But when he come out and kind of scanned that field and looked around, he just didn't seem like he wanted to stop. And here we go, a repeat of the night before. He just kept walking.
The buck stops, but Jeremy's not ready yet. The buck seems a little uncomfortable with this clearing this morning. That wide 8-pointer is blocking the vitals on Jeremy's buck. Jeremy waits. He knows at some point somebody has to make a move.
It's good.
It's not the move Jeremy wanted to see. The buck looks like he's done for the day.
Here he is walking away again. He makes one little loop around and there he goes. He just keeps right on walking down the edge of this field on a mission. He had nothing to do with us. He wanted nothing to do with that field. I was completely almost blown away. Like, what is this deer thinking? Like, why can't he just sit here and make things work for me? This is too much trouble, isn't it?
Jeremy's only hope is that that buck will stay the course that would bring him to the other side of the tree.
Oh yeah.
He almost tried to get away there, man.
When he stopped, it was just pure adrenaline. I'm speechless about it. It was absolutely awesome just to put a nice clean shot on him. Absolutely heart-pounding.
Yeah, good job. Thanks. Let's go get a look at him. We go through a lot to manage the property and grow some really nice deer, and it's great to be able to give something back to these guys that have given so much for us.
Oh, wow. Holy moly. Yeah,
That's
he's
a nice
awesome.
Buck, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very cool.
That's a pretty buck,
Yeah,
man. What do you
awesome.
think?
He's really cool. Absolutely awesome. When I picked that deer up for the first time and had his antlers in my hand, it was like game over. I was taken away. He was just so beautiful. What a good old buck. Great character. It made me feel so good. I was extremely excited to be there and have that deer in my hands finally.
How'd you feel this morning when he looked out, when he stepped out, man?
When he stepped out and you said he was there, I said, all right, man.
Man,
I didn't know what else to think.
Months of painful treatment and endless surgeries somehow are pushed far back into the past for Jeremy Smith. This cold morning in the thick South Texas brush is something that will live in this soldier's memory forever.
We might be complete strangers when we got here, but we'll be good friends by the time we leave, and that means something. I really that touches me inside, and really it's a step forward, and it's what everybody needs.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's really cool.